Production of the J.R. Eldridge Show is made possible with financial support from Arnold, Batson, Turner & Turner, attorneys at law. Blake Bell of Edward Jones Investments. The accounting firm of Turner, Rogers, Manning & Plyler, PLLC. Southern Bancorp. Mary and Martha's Florist and Gifts. Jostens. Doctors Rob and Gary Rucker. Taylor King, Personal Injury Lawyers. Twin Rivers Health and Rehabilitation. Welch Funeral Home. Roger Wingfield of State Farm Insurance. And Southwest Sporting Goods. This is the J.R. Eldridge Show with the coach of the Arkansas State Champion Football Badgers. Joining Coach Eldridge today is your host, Caleb Bird.
Hello and welcome to the J.R. Eldridge Show. My name is Jeff Root. I'm pinch hitting today for Caleb Bird, who is out for Thanksgiving but will be back for the game on Friday night. My pleasure to be with Coach J.R. Eldridge of the Arkadelphia Badgers. Coach, we visit from time to time. It's a pleasure to be on the show with you to pinch hit for Caleb and talk about this game. Let me just start by saying that I've called over 300 Arkadelphia Badger football games. I've never seen anything quite like Friday night and the win against Warren. Again, we're talking about a rematch of the state championship game from last year. We're talking about a team that has been ranked number one by many of the polls throughout the season, a team that had only had one loss, and yet you completely dominated the game. Give us a quick response to how your team played.
Well, I really just so thankful our players. They've done such a great job in practice. Our coaches in practice just trying to be mentally prepared, physically prepared, emotionally prepared for a game like that. And I felt like our coaching staff did an excellent job, and then our players just being able to, in practice, execute exactly what we were trying to do versus Warren, and then being able to replicate that on the field on Friday night was something that we were very proud of. And again, I'm just so thankful for our everything that went into it, and it felt really good to come out there and be victorious.
When the team plays well on a Friday night, I've often heard you say that they have prepared well through the week. They've had good practices, but tell us what that means. Is it a matter of execution? Do you see something in the way they carry themselves? What is it that cues you into the fact that the team's ready?
Well, I think it's a daily thing. I don't think, because you've really got to put together an entire week of practice. And so on Mondays, we'll have our Mental Monday, and we really talk about having great focus on Mental Mondays, to where we're trying to make sure that we understand exactly what we're trying to do in every phase. Mm-hmm. That way Tuesday can go well, because if you don't have a good Monday, Tuesday's not going to be as good, because you haven't really digested everything that we want to do. On Tuesday, we realize there's going to be issues, making sure that I'm fitting the right gap, or I'm blocking the right guy, or I'm doing the right thing on this special teams. We understand there's going to be mistakes, but we're able to repeat those and try to get them exactly how we want them. And then on Wednesday, we try to make sure that we call it No Rambo Wednesday. So Rambo would mean it's a key word for repeat. So we don't want to have to repeat a play as much on Wednesday, because after Wednesday, we're really not putting anything else in. We're trying to make sure the hay is in the barn, if you will. And then Thursday, we try to have a perfect Thursday. So it's really kind of a practice week is kind of an entity in and of itself. You really have to have a good Monday, to have a good Tuesday, to have a good Wednesday, if you will.
One of the things I've heard you say, and I've heard the players say, is that you really do prepare the same way every week, no matter who you're playing. There's no special spotlight just because it's Warren that is the opponent, but instead you're preparing for every game in a very consistent way. That helps the team play more consistently, I suppose.
Yeah, that's the mindset that we want to create. So often you hear people say this will be an easy game, or this will be a tough game, or they're really good or they're not very good. We try to stay away from that as a coaching staff and as players. We want to make sure that the focus is more on let's do what we're coached to do. Let's do it as hard as we can, and try to execute well and play harder than our opponent. And if we're able to do those two things, we feel like we can come away a victor.
One of the things that we talked about when you first came to Arkadelphia is that the team had to get used to the idea of playing into November, of playing longer than just a 10-game schedule, of winning in the playoffs and continuing to play. You're at a spot now where they expect that.
Well, I think so. We're very, very thankful that we're playing through Thanksgiving. That's always been, a goal is to, it's really, really fun to be able to have that family time. You're out of school, but you're also still spending time with your football family. And it's such a great experience, and we've been able to do that, I think, 5 out of my 8 years, which has been really fun. And hopefully we've been able to build tradition in that to where, former Badgers are able to come up to the field house early in the morning on Thanksgiving before we have our Perfect Thursday run through, just to give any type of motivation, see players that they might not know. So hopefully we'll be able to continue that. We know for sure this year that we're going to be able to do that, and that's an exciting thing for us.
Well, Ouachita student Katie Hatchett did a super job in our video highlights this week. Caleb Bird put them together before he headed down south to see his grandparents in New Orleans. So let's take a moment now and watch the highlights from the Warren game. You will kick off to begin the first of 8 kickoffs, all touchbacks in the first half.
Yeah, I thought Gabe just dominated in the special teams. He did great on kickoffs, especially. Gave our defense great starting field position every possession.
And here's the first clue that you're going to dominate the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, our defensive line, I thought they played just an excellent game, fitting where they're supposed to, and then our linebackers being free to run to the football, and then our secondary just did an excellent job too. I felt like we played really, really good team defense.
Warren has to punt 3 and out on their first possession, so you get the ball in good field position.
Great field position, basically because of our defense and the way that they played right here.
And there's Cannon Turner showing that speed.
Now, this is one of the plays that we scored on in the state championship game last year. However, they covered the tight end, so we ended up running it. So it was a run-pass option there.
Long run by Zion Hatley. He had a tremendous game.
He did. He had 170 yards rushing. Feel like he's really coming into his own and doing the things that we know he can do. Ran through contact, carried defenders, just had an excellent game.
So the Badgers score first. Extra point is good. You go up 7-0. Another touchback. They've got to start at their own 20-yard line.
Yeah, and this is, again, just great for our defense to know that we get a good start line, great fits on the power there, and then we're getting an excellent pass rush from our defensive line.
That is a fast quarterback in Kennard, but you covered him well.
Really did a great job, and then, right there on that clip right there, you can see the defense, the defensive line and the secondary working in unison, having him covered up. Even though he has time to throw, we've got him covered up in the back end.
Very important to catch that punt. It gives you good field position.
Yeah, Carlos did an excellent job securing that. Just great job all week in practice, and then great job in the game.
You continue to move the football, running and passing.
Yeah, I thought our offensive line played really, really well. They're very big up front. They've got an Arkansas commit on the defensive line for Warren. Just thought we handled their defensive line very well up front.
Pick up a first down, continue to move the football, and here's a pass, and that's a good catch by Rubel.
It's good protection by the offensive line, and then Cannon, great job right on the money to Rubel, great catch, and convert the third down.
More good running, just tremendous effort. Hatley's always had speed, and now he is strong enough to run over some people as well.
Yeah, one of the things that he's really been doing well is keeping his shoulder square to the line of scrimmage and just keeping his feet driving and staying in forward progress.
So here you are looking for your second touchdown of the game, and you're going to get that right here from Cannon Turner. Warren has not made a first down yet, and you're up 2 touchdowns.
It was a great job. And our offensive coaches, Coach Moreland, Coach Matlock, did a great job putting the game plan together. We had everybody blocked on that play where we scored. You saw several plays where everybody's blocked. There's only one person to make a tackle. That's just evidence of great coaching by our offensive coaches. So great job offensively.
Pass to the flat, well covered also, and they are short of a first down here. Warren has a talented team. Of course, everybody knows that Traylon Burks was injured, but they still had, as you said, a future Division I player on the line of scrimmage and a lot of talent elsewhere.
Yeah, they've always got good athletes. What doesn't matter what position you're talking about. They're all over the field for Warren every year.
Now it looks like they're going to get a drive going, but your team stops it. Again, good work by the defensive line.
Yeah, our defense did not allow fourth down conversion for them. We were 2 of 2 on offense for us, so great job on both sides of the ball.
Now we're into second quarter action, and you're driving again.
Just continue to Coach Moreland calling good plays, our players executing so that we can move the football.
Janet Turner, good passer, dangerous runner, spinning and getting closer to the goal line. Warren trying to stop you from getting in the end zone this time. So you go to the field goal.
Yeah, Gabe was, I think he was 3 for 3 on field goals as well. Just an excellent job. He was perfect in everything that he did this past week. He had a 52-yard average on his punting for 3 punts. 61-yard long, so just excellent job by Gabe.
So Warren goes to Vincent Steps, their good back, but he can't make a first down. They have to punt the ball again.
Yeah, I felt really good about I think Warren ended up with not even 100 yards at halftime. I think that was the case. And just really proud of our defense and the way they were flying around. And I felt like by how violently we were being able to play, we were able to really just take the morale of Warren away throughout this first part of the game.
Right down the middle of the field for Hatley for good yardage and another good run here. Coach, one of the things we remarked on the broadcast was that it appeared that the Arkadelphia Badgers were extremely well prepared to face their defense. You ran a variety of plays, everything was well rehearsed, everything executed well, and you just kept scoring.
Yeah, and again, I think that goes back to our offensive line coach, Coach Matlock, and then our offensive coordinator, Coach Moreland, just doing a great job. One of the things that we talked about on Sunday last week was we have got to be very precise in what we're doing. Because they do have really good athletes, we've got to be very precise, and I felt like we were.
There's a turnover leading to this opportunity for Arkadelphia, and the defense not only stopped Warren, but they created turnovers for the offense.
Really did. Gave us good opportunities. Kyron Harrison with the strip, and then we were able to hit one of our trick plays that really gave us that first down, and then right after that, Zion's able to score. Again, we felt like it was almost exactly like practice how that was executed in the game.
Now, we just saw that trick play that you mentioned. I can imagine the kids get really excited when a trick play works.
Yeah, they really did. We've been talking about it. We've been practicing it. Sometimes you don't end up running trick plays that you practice, but we had a perfect opportunity there.
And here's another turnover, another opportunity for Arkadelphia, and another big run by Hatley.
Yeah, I thought he just ran with a purpose, and his purpose being to get in the end zone. Number 8, he just ran right through number 8 right there. Great job by Zion.
So you're pouring it on at this point, and folks in the press box are beginning to say this could actually be a mercy rule game by halftime.
Yeah, and really we were hoping that as well on the sideline as we continued to put on more steam throughout the game. Or throughout the first half, we were hoping the same thing because it's really good in the playoffs if you're able to do that, to be able to get more guys experience playing in the playoffs, and then also get some guys out that you want to keep healthy for the next game.
Here's Warren trying to fight back, driving into Arkadelphia territory, but such pressure on the quarterback.
It's a great job by Josh Wallace finishing that play thought that Jason Campbell was getting held all night by number 73, obviously right there on that clip as well. Jason's just beating him on the edge every single play. He does it again here. Another what looks like a holding call to me that doesn't get called really 3 times in a row.
Campbell and Rogers, just a couple of great bookends.
Yeah, they really are. Our defensive ends are playing excellent right now. Ricky, he had the first sack of the night, and then, of course, Jason just pressuring the quarterback all night.
Now here is yardage after contact like you rarely see. What a good run by Hadley.
Just running with a purpose again. You know, we give away helmet stickers. He had 14 stickers. Just a great job, you know, running the football. He had 2 pancakes as well. Does a great job blocking. You see him block right there for Buster on the jet sweep. Did a great job on that as well.
Another field goal. He actually made it twice this time because of a penalty. Nailed it both times, and Goodman continues to be perfect.
Yeah, I thought that was really good. We were able to run down the clock and get the field goal at the end of that first half to make it 41-0. And, you know, we're able also to get the ball back right after halftime.
And we are into the second half now. We're going to see a lot of the younger guys getting some important playing time. In the second round of the playoffs, you had freshmen on the field.
Yeah, you know, it's really good to be able to play those guys just so they can see the speed of the game and the speed at which they have to play and the preciseness with which they have to play. You know, right there on that touchdown, like Kalen Jones, I mean, 1 foot difference if he's inside leverage right there. You know, he's able to either intercept that ball, make a tackle, or get the ball out.
So it's good experience for the younger guys on offense and defense. Warren did get that score because they wanted points and left their first team in. But good experience for your guys on special teams, obviously shining there with Haney and also with the kick by Goodman. And the younger guys played some good defense as well.
They did. I thought when we had an opportunity to make tackles, we did a great job making tackles defensively. And then, you know, I'd like to mention Carlos Haney on that previous that punt coverage. Carlos has just been playing relentless on defense and on special teams, and had another great game Friday night. Really excited about the way he's playing right now.
An interception by the second team secondary.
And that was Kalen Jones on the same play that we saw earlier. He did it right that time, and he was able to fit inside and get that interception.
Yeah, no small thing against the first team offense for Warren, a team with only 1 loss coming into the game. And here is an amazing punt.
Yeah, I think this was his long 61-yard punt. Just excellent job by Gabe, making them have to drive the length of the field if they want to score. Also, that takes time off the clock.
We're seeing the same kind of pursuit from the younger guys that we see in the first team offense or defense.
Yeah, and I think that's a habit. You know, that's a habit, and goes back to our defensive coaches. You know, you can see we're still running to the football right there. You know, that's a habit that's created in practice, something that is demanded of by our defensive coordinator, Coach Kaiser, and the rest of our defensive coaches, Coach Chandler and Coach Myers, do an excellent job of making sure that we're accountable to running to the football.
Good tackling by the younger guys, including a 9th grader that made a tackle a couple of highlights ago there.
Yes, sir. Yeah, really proud of the way those guys, those 9th graders, have been coming to work every day. You know, been able to move those guys up, and they get that practice experience right now. This will be their 3rd extra, really their 4th extra game. Gives them an opportunity to get better.
And we're getting to the end of the game here, victory formation, and a huge win for Arkadelphia. 41-14, 41-0, of course. When your first team was in by halftime, you had completely dominated the game, and I think maybe sent a few shock waves around the state. We always keep up with other scores in the press box during the broadcast, and as other radio crews were doing that across the state, I think they may have been thumping their phones a bit to see if that was really the score. People were expecting a very close game, but you completely dominated the contest.
Yeah, you know, and that's one of the things as a coaching staff and as players, as we go throughout the week of practice last week, you know, and as we watch film, in my mind, I'm thinking, you know, we're going to beat these guys. Yeah. I felt that way. You know, our players were able to execute play really, really hard, played very, very violently. And so, I just felt like it compounded the original thoughts that our coaching staff and our players had of we're going to beat these guys, was compounded by how or by the passion with which they played the game. And hopefully we can keep that up. We look at our season, we're in week 13, and hopefully we're able to continue to build. I feel like toward the end of the conference season, we kept on climbing. So hopefully, this is not the pinnacle for us as a football team, but it continues to be a new standard, and we can continue to create that new standard every week.
Now, a casual fan might have thought when the team was 0-5, that this won't be a year for the Badgers. But on this program, all through that stretch at the beginning of the season, you were continuously saying, we've got a chance to be a good team, and the team has become better than good, an outstanding team. You saw that potential in them from the very beginning.
I really did. I mean, I think my exact words on this show throughout that time were, there is something special about this football team. And I believed that then. I believe it now. And I will keep believing it as we move forward. There is something special about these guys. These guys, and even something more special about them right now because they were able to fight through that adversity and continue to come to work. And that was one of the things that we talked about on a daily basis is just keep coming to work, just keep coming to work, just keep coming to work. And that keep coming to work mentality, regardless of our circumstances, has paid off. We're not there yet. We've got to continue to keep coming to work because just because we beat Warren does not mean that this week is under wraps. We've got to keep coming to work this week and prepare for a really good Stuttgart team.
Well, one thing that's been true of your teams since you've been at Arkadelphia as a head coach, one of the things that's been true is that your teams improve throughout the season. We've seen it year after year after year. I'm going to compliment you now because that doesn't happen with every football team. There are those teams that kind of fade at the end. There are those teams where the players maybe get a little bit weary after playing football for a couple of months. Your teams have never been indicative of that, especially in more recent years when they're accustomed to success, they expect to succeed, they expect to continue to work hard to improve. We all knew that they would improve. They've improved so much now they become a real threat in the playoffs from here on. I don't want to talk about anything after this week. As you said, you got to win this game before you can think about moving and how far the team might go. But give us a preview of the matchup with Stuttgart, a team that you have defeated for the past 3 seasons in non-conference action.
Stuttgart's the #1 seed in their conference. They're a very good football team. They've got, really they've got some players that really stand out on their football team. They did lose one of their best football players, not this past game versus Dardanelle, but the game versus CAC. Who really made a lot of plays versus us in our first game in 2017. So he won't be out there, but they've got some good weapons. Offensively, they primarily like to run the football and get in more heavier formations, and they switch it up a little bit, but for the most part, they like to run the football. And they've got some athletic guys. Number 21 is a very good runner. Number 24 is probably their best linebacker. He does a really good job. One of the best that we may see. Defensively, they fly around. They're very technical. So and then in special teams, in their conference, I think a lot of like on kickoff, you see a lot of onside kicks. You see a lot of neutralizing things that happen in special teams in their conference. So it's a little bit different from the style of special teams that we're used to. So we got to have a good plan for that. But this week, again, we're going to try to put those plans in place on Monday and really work to execute those plans as we move forward throughout the week.
Does it make a difference that your team has been to Stuttgart before?
I think it definitely makes a difference. I don't know necessarily with whether we win or lose, I think the biggest difference that it makes is this team has been there. Last year they were there, so they know their surroundings.
Yeah.
They know where they're going to be in the locker room. They know how far the walk's going to be to the field. They know what it's like to be on their field. So I think that makes a difference in just, kind of a comfort zone a little bit. I'm glad we are going to Stuttgart because it is a place that we have been in recent past. So we look forward to the challenge. I mean, it's going to be a challenge. Good coaches, good football team. Look forward to this week in practice.
Before we run out of time, I want to compliment the entire conference. So we'll look at the scores from last week's game. The conference is representing itself extremely well in the playoffs.
Yeah, we've got obviously three teams that are still going, and really probably would have a fourth team had they not played against another team in our own conference, which is just crazy. So 3 out of 8 from our conference.
And there's the Stuttgart score. They won a reasonably close game there against Dardanelle. Stuttgart was a team that a lot of people expected to do well, and they have done well.
Yeah, they really have. They've got a great record. Did a great job in their conference. So again, we've got to have a great mindset for the week, and just look forward to embracing the challenge.
I complimented you and your coaching a few moments ago. Let me give you a chance to compliment your assistant coaches because they're part of creating the culture that you have.
Oh, really? For me, the best thing about going to work every day is the fact that we do have great coaches at Arkadelphia. I mean, Coach Moreland, Coach Matlock, Coach Kaiser, Coach Chandler, Coach Myers, just do an excellent job every week of putting in plans, keeping our players' morale high, and it's tough. I mean, especially the way we started, it was really tough to come back to work and stay positive and keep all the moving parts together when you've got so much adversity. But I'm thankful that we've got such a good group of football coaches and such a good group of players.
Coach, I've had a lot of fun today pinch hitting for Caleb. He'll be back next week. We'll be back with another show. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Looking forward to the game on Friday night. We want you to tune in to that game. You can catch it on the radio on KDEL FM 100.9 in Arkadelphia, or you can catch the live stream, Arkadelphia Badger TV. That is it for this show. We'll be back next week with another edition of the J.R. Eldredge Show.
The J.R. Eldredge Show is sponsored by Blake Bell of Edward Jones Investments, Welch Funeral Home, Southwest Sporting Goods, Arnold, Batson, Turner & Turner, Attorneys at Law, Jostens, Doctors Rob and Gary Rucker, Southern Bancorp, Taylor King, Personal Injury Lawyers, Mary and Martha's Florist and Gifts, Twin Rivers Health and Rehabilitation, Turner, Rogers, Manning and Plyler, PLLC, and Roger Wingfield of State Farm Insurance. Join us again next week for more Badger football action with Caleb Bird and head coach J.R. Eldredge.